a leopard can't change its spots. The Democrats have always maintained power through deception and through mob tactics and through intimidation, and it's no longer working.
Hey friends, thanks so much for tuning in. This is a very, very important broadcast. I cannot believe how wide open the deep state is now. And yesterday we saw the Dow fall 600 points, wiping out all the 2018 gains while the NASDAQ has entered correction territory. And this is all on the back of President Trump expressing his dissatisfaction with the Fed, saying, and I quote, Obama had zero interest rates, end quote. And what's happening? He's being punished. He's being spanked because the Federal Reserve and the big international banksters want him and everybody else to know who's boss. And on the back of that, yesterday, we saw these prop bombs targeting the people who are the true enemies of the state. It's unbelievable. I have Bob Kudla, the founder of Trade Genius, back on to help us break it all down. Bob, welcome.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Sean. You're absolutely right. I think, the desperation has now reached the surface. And I mean, look what happened yesterday, too, with all of a sudden, conveniently, the bombers are now going after the Democrats, I think people are like now just sitting there just shaking their head saying, oh, okay. The left has been so incredibly uncivil. And so, but now it's going to be like everybody's uncivil. And you saw Hillary change gears. All of a sudden she's saying we have to be civil when 2 weeks ago she was going to be uncivil. And then the thing of that I notice is that I think everything's blowing up in their faces. And this whole thing with the Federal Reserve and Trump's going to blow up in their face too, Sean. Look, Trump has called them out. I mean, this was a master stroke on his part. He's saying if the economy goes bad, you lay it on the feet of the Federal Reserve. And they could punish him all they want. It's just going to come back and punish them because right now the banks, if they all reported last week, and their loan books are all falling in volume. People aren't borrowing money. A bank can't survive unless they can lend money. And that's their mother's milk. Interest rates have gone up too far, too fast, and now they're losing their loan books. In addition to that, you have quantitative tightening happening at the same time, so they're losing their free money. And the people that are going to lose the most money during this market crash is not the normal people. It's going to be the elites. It's going to be the government pension funds. It's going to be the union pension funds. And so it's not going to be long before they're going to get a lot of internal pressure to change this. And we saw this coming. You and I have only been talking for about 4 to 6 months, but, I've been yelling at anybody who would listen to me all of 2018 to start getting out of the stock market. It was overvalued. They pumped it up for Hillary's coronation. And when Hillary did not get in, the Federal Reserve started to unwind this thing. And for whatever reason, it kind of held on for a few more months. And then now it's rolling over hard. And it's going to continue to fall, Sean. I'd like to say it's going to stop, but we'll probably get a pretty good correction in the stock market. However, what we're seeing is that gold, silver, the miners, cryptocurrencies are totally ignoring this. And this is what we want to see. Real money is being preserved. The funny money that the Fed, they offer and take from us is being now destroyed. So we told people, look, there's going to be a reset here. Move money out of the financial assets, move money into hard assets, gold, silver, miners, cryptos. And that's going to be the play going into next year.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? You sent me a couple of screen grabs here. Your next trade is setting up, waiting on your buy algorithm. We'll talk about that in a second, because when a market starts to turn negative this way, most common folks do nothing but panic. It just gets real scary because they're not set up with shorts. They're not hedged properly. They don't know how to make money in a falling market. So we can talk about how people can do that in a second. But I want to stay over the target here for a minute. I took this screen grab yesterday from CNN. And I want to just talk again about these prop bombs, this clear false flag. And by the way, Bob, when I say that, even on CNN's own website, the comments are saying false flag, false flag, false flag. Nobody's buying this. And do you know why? Because, and again, this is so remarkable. These suspicious packages were sent to the very deep state criminals I have been calling out for years and demanding the arrest of these people. The Clintons, the Obamas, George Soros. Evidently, John Brennan received one of these suspicious packages. CNN offices, CNN, the epitome of the Mockingbird deep state media. Maxine Waters, Eric Holder, and get this, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. These are the absolute seditious traitors to the United States. And there is not a conservative, libertarian, red-blooded American among us who would wish any harm be sent to these people through the mail. What we want is justice to be served. We want them indicted and tried for their crimes. So that's why this is so outrageous, and that's why nobody's buying it, Bob.
Yeah, I agree. When I started seeing them start to show up on the news feeds, I just laughed. I just said, are they that transparent? Do they think we're that stupid that they're trying to muddy the water in terms of civility at this point, where everybody knows it's the left is the mob versus the jobs, and now they're trying to say, hey, it's everybody, and I think that's good news though, Sean. I mean, the words that you're pushing out there, people are listening to, and they're no longer listening to the mainstream press.
Well, yeah, that's right. They aren't. The mainstream press, specifically, and I mean specifically CNN, and then MSNBC, the Wall Street Journal, Bezos blog, Washington Post, but CNN specifically is so discredited and has absolutely no credibility whatsoever left with any thinking people. And by the way, their ratings are so low, Bob, we'll probably get more views on this thing than they get in an hour because nobody's watching it. It is truly New World Order, Mockingbird talking points. And then I want to say this. You've got this Alexander Soros, George Soros' son, doing an op-ed for the New York Times, blaming these packages, these bomb packages, these prop bombs, on the demonization of opponents by Trump. Now, I can't think of a bigger New World Order seditious criminal than George Soros, by the way, one of Hillary Clinton's biggest donors when she was running for president. I can't think of a bigger traitor than George Soros. And this kid, this Bono wannabe with his Bono U2 glasses on in this article, is blaming it on extreme fringes on the right. And he also rolls out the old anti-Semitism meme because, of course, George Soros, the target of anti-Semitism. You know what? I don't care if the man's Jewish, Catholic, Lutheran, Muslim. I don't care. I just want people who would respect the Constitution and Bill of Rights. And George Soros, with his open society, is literally trying to destroy this country. How about that caravan that's coming? Have you seen those people getting money handed out to them to join the caravan? Who do you think is funding that, Bob?
Yeah, do you think you see the new trucks they're driving on too? Yeah, no, I agree with you. And George Soros, he is the ultimate 1984 Orwell guy because he's a Jewish guy who turned in Jews to the Germans.
That's right. 100% correct. Well done.
So he has no credibility. So, but what the left has always hoped for is that people can't look at yesterday. And now we have shows like yourself, we have social media, we have things that are recorded, in memoriam that just could point out their hypocrisy. And once that has happened, they've lost their power. Because now people could just point to and say to this kid's dad, didn't your dad kill Jews himself during World War II? I mean, how dare you accuse the right, which is probably the biggest supporter of Israel in the world, of being anti-Semitic? They just try to redefine words to their own benefit. I'm pretty right-wing. I'm very Israeli supportive, and I take offense at these remarks. And we're rule of law people. Look, when Obama won, we went to work the next day. When Trump won, these people went to war. So I think people understand that. And this caravan thing is another thing they're going to shoot themselves in the foot with, Sean. Look, it's caravan, Kavanaugh, and chaos. This is the KKK of the left. All right, this is what they've done. They shot themselves in the foot now on three things. Kavanaugh hearings, they lost the Senate. With chaos, they're losing the American people. And with this caravan, they're probably going to lose the House. I don't know who's advising these people, but it certainly is not working for them.
Well, it's because they're insane. I mean, I literally think they're insane because they're drunk on hatred and evil. They're drunk on their lust for power. And look, going back to this kid's New York Times op-ed, he says, "My family is no stranger to the hostilities of those who reject our philosophy, our politics, and our very identity." Let's just break that down a minute. Their philosophy is to kill the sovereignty of nation states. And what did our president himself say when he was running for president? He said the nation state remains.
The nation state remains the true foundation for happiness and harmony.
And the true source of prosperity. The nation state, the sovereign state, the United States, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. The philosophy and the politics of the Soros family is to destroy that. and people are waking up. And as it pertains to the Soros-backed mob, Bob, if anybody watching that thinks that that's not a danger to our republic, just imagine those people being armed. It literally then becomes a Soros army, because that's what I've been calling it. It's a Soros-backed army. They're not armed, but if they were armed, imagine.
Yeah, hey, Sean, they're interviewing people, yesterday, and they were asking, what are you going to say when you get to the border? And people were like, we don't know. Please let us in. We want a job. And I mean, they totally don't even understand what's going to happen when they get to the border, because they're only going to be allowed to be let in if that's what we would do. If, they have to apply for asylum. They can't come over as economic, migrants. So they don't even know why they're going. They were handed money and they were told that the American government will let you in. I don't think they have any idea what's going to come their way. They've been totally duped in this situation as well. But, I think it's everything that's going to probably fail, Sean.
Well, I think what we're seeing right now is the absolute desperation of the deep state, so much so because they are a target. You got to remember, with Hillary not in the White House, she can't stack the deck at the State Department, the Department of Justice, the FBI. We're trying to do some house cleaning there. I should say Trump is. They can't stack the deck anymore, and they're exposed because their witch, their puppet, isn't in control. So the panic we're seeing here is very palpable. It's very tangible. It's very quantifiable because, like I said at the beginning of this interview, these same people targeted by this clear false flag with these prop bombs are the very deep state enemies we want to see arrested. We don't want them harmed by pipe bombs. We want them arrested, and we want them in Gitmo.
Yeah, and I think President Trump's been holding back on some of the stuff that he has, probably as waiting to see what happens with the election. And he's going to have these people playing defense, I think, all next year, because he's just going to start exposing them one after the other, left and right. Look, there's a rumor that Rod Rosenstein was turned, that he's keeping his job because he's spilling his guts to Trump. I mean, that would be a tremendous coup if that was the case. And I agree with you. They have no place left to hide. And, look how many indictments are starting to come down now. About once or twice a week, we're starting to see people at the Justice Department or the Treasury Department or the FBI either leaving, getting fired, or getting indicted for leaking information to the press. So I think this is going to be a drumbeat going into next year, and I think it's all going to come to a head here, and especially if the Democrats do take one of the houses of Congress and they try to press Trump on whatever issue. I think he's just going to unload the whole thing he has behind the scenes and really get these people out in the open, which it deserves to be in the light of day.
Yeah, it does. And I think it will be. I think that the FBI, I think that the powers that be are going to get to the bottom of this prop bomb thing, because again, there's stickers, I think ISIS stickers on some of these packages and return addresses, and it's just absolutely absurd. It's clearly these things weren't meant to blow up. They were meant to be props that then the Mockingbird mainstream media could talk about ad nauseum so they could stop talking about the caravan. The caravan, it's a mob. A caravan, again, a nice Mockingbird mainstream, warm and cozy name for a mob. Again, imagine if these people were armed. All right, I want to turn back to this stock market. I want to turn back to these thoughts of, again, the Federal Reserve raising rates so many times since President Trump took office. Meanwhile, Obama had zero interest rates. We think about that Rothschild Economist magazine from 1988 saying, get ready for a world currency in 2018. Here we sit. These people, unfortunately, are still in control of the Fed, of the central banks. When a stock market starts to do this, Bob, how do people position themselves to make money? Again, you sent me a couple of screen grabs saying this is our trading algorithm, consistent profits, 4%, then 16%, and today another trade is forming. Help me understand how people can make some money through your algorithms. How does that work?
Yeah, so first of all, from a macro level, you have to understand where the money is flowing out of and where it's flowing into. And there's always a bull market somewhere, Sean. So, we think we've correctly identified that the money is going to move out of the financial assets and it's going to move into what they call hard assets. And within the hard assets, we think it's going to move into the precious metal area. There's historical precedent for this. And then the stock prices of metals and miners are supporting that. So So that's number one. So our algorithm looks at what's called buying pressure and selling pressure. And we already built the code into the software. And then we do one of two things. One is that we have it on software that people that subscribe to us it's automatically loaded onto their software that they get. It's like on the cloud. They don't even have to even load any software. They just sign on to it. And then number two is that we're looking for the best trade within that, Sean, and we signal those out. So, I manage the stock and ETF trades, and my partner manages the crypto trades. He was a crypto miner. And today, gold and silver and cryptos were either flat or up today while the market absolutely collapsed. And so, we think we're in the right thing. And that's the thing you look for. You look for what's called relative strength. And gold and silver, cryptos and the miners are holding up while the rest of the stock market is falling. And we think once the Federal Reserve stops, then the gold, silver miners and cryptos are going to take off. And also, and then people are going to be able to get back into the bond market. You'll see interest rates fall again. So stay out of the stock market, move into those assets that are going up. And what we do is, so you don't have to worry about thinking about all that stuff, we do all that thinking for you, and we provide that information via software, signals. We have a chat room. And in addition to that, when people buy one of our annual bundles, we actually include our training classes as part of the service. So people can get up to speed if they're a new trader or they're novice or they just want to refresh themselves. We don't charge extra for that. They get our basic stock training classes. They get our basic crypto training classes so that they can understand what we do, why we do it, how we do it, and why it works. And it does work. And we consistently make money nearly every day in the market because, we're looking, the old, cliche, buy low, sell high. We're looking to buy low on the channel. We're looking for the buying pressure to come in. We buy, we don't get greedy. We sell, we make money. We look for the next trade. And we just do that every single day. And it works. And I just sent you a couple charts. These are trades just for today, Sean. I just wanted to point them out to you. The algorithm hit. I sent them to you. You can see the trades that happened in the past week or two from the same algorithm. So you know that, it's memorialized on there. I'm not making those trades up. And this is what happened, how much money you'd have made or not made in those trades. But they consistently make money.
All right, good. Well, I'll put a link below here if anybody wants to check that out. But let me ask you this. We're big silver and gold people in physical form at SGT Report. We're very aware of the malfeasance and the criminality of these central banks, these Rothschild-controlled central banks all over the planet, including their control over our Federal Reserve. What is your thought on people getting into physical silver and physical gold as at least a hedge against a worst-case scenario? As a hedge against that, get ready for a world currency. Because the only way they can accomplish that is if they destroy the euro and they destroy the dollar and they hyperinflate away all these currencies. Then they can ride in as the saviors, introducing some sort of new currency that, of course, they will control.
Yeah, I'm all of the above. I own physical silver, and I like silver miners and gold miners because of the leverage you get from it, and also to be able to generate income from it. So, the silver miners are, the physical silver is there in case I need it for emergencies or if there's no other alternative. But the miners are there that you can create income streams and you can create capital gains, and you can also pay off, debt while you're still in the financial market. So I believe in both of them for sure. Total proponent of silver and gold physical.
Yeah. Well, I had just heard, I was at the bank today and I was talking to a teller. He brought up this Powerball, I guess, that was just won for, I think it was over $1 billion. I haven't been following that at all, but he brought it to my attention. And we talked about the cash payout versus if you take an annual payment over 29 years. And he said the cash payout was like $800 some million. And I said, well, that's the no-brainer. You don't want to take a payout over 29 years because imagine what the dollar will be worth in 29 years, Bob. Can you imagine a worse deal to be made? Let the state sit on your money for 29 years and hope it's worth something? No, you take the $800 million and you immediately diversify into hard assets. That's what you do.
Yeah, I agree. When my dad retired, I begged him to take a lump sum because you don't know how much it's going to cost you to live, 20 years down the line. And he did not. And by the end of his life, he was barely struggling in fact, we had to come in and help him because they basically inflated away, his lifestyle.
Well, and that's what's going to happen to these pensioners. And my heart goes out to these people who think the money is there and it's safe. And, they just have this normalcy bias that the dollar will always be strong. The dollar will always be king, and they're going to get their pension retirement money. When so many of these pensions are underfunded to a degree that, look, Illinois itself, I think, is practically bankrupt just based on their pension liabilities. Hey, Bob, we have to wrap this up, but I just want to come full circle here. And I want you to round out for us what you think went on with these prop bombs. I mean, look, Joe Mesopos on Twitter, he's the guy that made that great Q Plan to Save the World video. He tweeted yesterday, Deep State Playbook is easier to read than Dr. Seuss. And it's an image of Brennan whispering to Clapper, two CIA stooges. And Clapper says, we're running out of time. What else you got? Brennan whispers, easy. Stage bomb threats against our buddies and media outlets. Blame Trump supporters and cry foul. How many times are they going to use this playbook and this strategy, Bob? It's so worn out and so tired. And again, look at the comments over at CNN. Nobody's buying it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to play it out until they lose this next election. But look, that's the only thing they have in their bag anyway, Sean. So, a leopard can't change its spots. The Democrats have always maintained power through deception and through mob tactics and through intimidation. And it's no longer working. So I just think they're just going to get more and more shrill. And, hopefully they'll try to create some sort of anarchy. And I think that might be the next play after this set of activities fail.
Yeah, I know that is what they're counting on. That's what they're hoping for. They're out of cards. But again, look at the walk-away movement. Even people on the left have had enough. They're fed up. They don't want Soros open borders. They don't want Clinton criminality. And I think I'll leave everybody with this glimmer of hope. And it's this image of the witch and her rapist husband at the Trump inauguration looking about as depressed as two human beings could. And Bob, you'll remember what the witch reportedly said when it was becoming clear to her that she was probably going to lose the election. She said, if that bastard wins, we'll all hang from nooses. They're terrified.
Yeah, and it's coming. So, hey, if I can real quick, thought here on our service is that we put some really good discounts together for your listeners to the 20th of October. We pre-discounted everything, free training with the bundles, and also we're providing the software that we show on those slides are available as part of any of those bundles that people purchase as well. So a killer deal for your listeners, and we hope folks take advantage of it. And thank you for letting me say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just clarify, though. I think you said through October 20th. Did you mean November 20th?
No, I meant October 28th. I apologize.
Okay, got it. Okay. And what is the special deal there? I guess I'll just leave a link below this interview and people can click on that.
Yeah, if they go to tradelikeagenius.com, we created 6 bundles where they could pick what trading service they like, cryptos or stock trading or both, or additional coaching or software. And what we did was we pre-discounted up to 60, 70% in some cases, and also provided free training as part of those bundles. And it's available till the 20th of October for any of the people that want to participate in that. And that's for your listeners, Sean, and we're going to hold it open until Sunday night.
All right. Excellent. Guys, our guest has been Bob Kudla. Bob, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. And I'm sure we'll talk after the elections.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this red wave unfold. These people truly are panicked, folks, and it's a wonderful thing to watch because they are seditious, they are the traitors, and we are the ones that love the Bill of Rights and Constitution. All right, Bob, until we talk again, take care, bud.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. And guys, thank you so much for your support. We very much appreciate it. For real news 24/7, be sure to check us out at sgtreport.com. God bless.
Our freedoms with regards to our health are being taken away. And, what's happening in California where it's mandatory vaccinations, for example. I mean, you're free to have an abortion, but you're not free to not vaccinate your child. So at what point does the government stop stepping in on how we want to heal our bodies?